Hey everyone, Jessica, clinical psychologist from thepsychcollective.com, and we are doing another schema video today. Okay, I've got 4 coming today, so make sure you hit subscribe to follow up and get all the notifications as we release them over the next few weeks. We are starting today with the avoidant protector mode. Now this is one of the flight modes. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, make sure you go back and watch the schema overview video. It's got the big rainbow arches on the board. That'll give you an overview of where we're talking about, but these ones are going to focus simply on the flight strategies. So starting with avoidant protector. The function of this one here for the avoidant protector is to avoid engaging in any activity, situation, relationship where there's any opportunity for failure, judgment, rejection, or stuffing it up. All right. The avoidant protector mode, it's a avoidance strategy, which is why it's considered under flight. This is more of a behavioral avoidance than what we see with some of the other ones, like detached protector is more of a psychological avoidance. You can be in the room but the lights are on and nobody's home, whereas the avoidant protector is simply people don't show up for stuff. The schemas associated with this, quite often we see some abandonment schemas being activated with the sense of, well, kind of I'm going to reject you before you reject me, kind of I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to risk getting engaged in a relationship or a situation where I could be abandoned from it. Defectiveness and failure usually also come up for the same reasons. And the social isolation, which kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I'm scared that if I go then I'm going to be judged, or people won't like me, or people will laugh at me, so I won't go. And then because I haven't gone, well, now I'm all alone and I'm isolated and I don't have any connection. And so the self-fulfilling prophecy, the social isolation, just gets more and more entrenched. The triggers, they're pretty broad, right? It's really any situation where there is a risk of being judged by others. This could be a work meeting where you've got to go, you're sitting at a team meeting and you've got to present some information, or you're worried that you might be criticized for something, or you might be judged for something. It could be going to a party or a social gathering. It could be kind of trying to get involved in dating. It could be doing like a public speaking event. People with a strong avoidant protector aren't going to show up. Just they'll cancel plans, and this is where we see the awareness of what does this actually look like. It's a strong behavioral. They'll cancel plans, or they just won't make plans in the first place because then they've got nothing to cancel. It's the I don't want to, I'm too busy, other people laugh at me, I'll stuff it up, why bother trying anyway? It's I don't want to take any risks with meeting new people. They might be okay dealing with their small kind of circle of their own friends or their family, where there's been enough establishment of trust that I think I can be kind of myself with these people, or these people are safe enough that they're not likely to reject me, so it's okay. But new people, no, that's uncontrollable and I don't know what it's like. Going into new situations, moving into kind of new college or university, going into a new work environment could be really, really, really troublesome for the avoidant protector, because the urge is run, hide, don't show up. Really strong procrastination response with the avoidant protector as well, with the sense of, well, if I don't try, then I can't fail. And we can often see some kind of giving up of, oh, well, I gave it a go and it didn't really work, so I'm leaving now. And they may be, oh, I'll go, but I'm only going to stay for 10 minutes. And they give themselves an out. They're kind of looking for the exits. They're doing their strategizing for how am I going to get out of here the second that things start to get uncomfortable or difficult or too challenging. Now, the maladaptive component of this schema mode is pretty obvious. If you're avoiding everything, or at least most things, your world gets smaller. You're missing out on connection, you're missing out on relationships, you're missing out on opportunities to try stuff and learn that you can actually do things without being judged or without being criticized. You don't give yourself the opportunity to succeed because you're so caught up in the fear of what will happen if you were to fail. And then because you're not trying, you kind of do fail in the fact that you weren't successful in completing the task or engaging in the activity because you never tried in the first place. So then we get the reinforcement of the defectiveness schema or the failure schema, or I always stuff it up, I never get it right, because you don't give yourself the opportunity to. And from all of that, people, I call it de-skill. I don't know if that's actually a word, but it sounds good to me. Where because you're not using your skills, you lose your confidence in your ability to use your skills. It's kind of the whole like learning to ride a bike thing, but then if you stop riding a bike for 10 years, you get rusty and you kind of got to figure out how to balance again. And what I've actually seen outside of the realm of schema therapy is so many people are struggling with this because of COVID. I've got friends who have no mental health stuff, no mental health issues, no kind of maladaptive schemas generally, but because they've gone into long-term isolation with COVID, they haven't been going into work, everything's been via Zoom, all their social activities got shut down while we went into lockdown, and then having to kind of re-emerge into the world and engage with people. It's like, how do I do this again? And that's one of the biggest problems with the avoidant protector, is because you're not trying the skills very often. So when you are put in a situation where you have to show up, you have to actually engage, then you've lost the confidence on how to do it because you haven't used the skill for so long. All right. The crossover effect, honestly, social anxiety and agoraphobia, okay, but they're not really schema terms, but that's kind of is a differential diagnosis, or the actual diagnosis, that's what we'd be seeing. Also be mindful of the detached protector in here. So the avoidant protector is the behavioral avoidance. The detached protector, as I said earlier, is the psychological avoidance. And to be honest, I can see people kind of doing both. So where they can't avoid and they have to attend, then they might go into detached protector. And when they can avoid, then it's more the avoidant protector who says, just not showing up. What they need, well, this one's pretty obvious. What they need is attachment, but they're scared to go and get the attachment. They're scared to put themselves out there and risk kind of the rupture of the attachment. But really what they desperately need is attachment, and in a way where there's some safety, in a way where there's kind of the guarantee, to the best of your ability, the guarantee that, okay, come and sit with us. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to reject you. We're not going to criticize you. This is a safe space for you to be a part of. All right. They also need to tap into the spontaneity and play around trying new things and expanding their interests. There also needs to be some boundaries where you set limits for yourself on how much you allow yourself to avoid. And this is where your healthy adult mode comes in, right? So you've got the vulnerable child mode going, I'm scared, I'm worried that people are going to criticize me. The avoidant protector going, don't worry, I got a plan for this. We're just not going, problem solved. What you need is that healthy adult to kind of step in and go, hang on a minute. If we avoid everything, then we're not engaging with the world. We risk rupturing all of our connections by not showing up or not connecting, and even kind of not responding to text messages or emails. We've got to do something here. Let's make a plan on how we could do little bits at a time while we build up our confidence, which is effectively just exposure hierarchy, right? It's the graded exposure component. So you need to use your healthy adult mode to help you find the courage to engage in the exposure task. And where you can get help from others is if you do have some safe connections, then talk to them and let them know, one, how much anxiety is provoked when you are invited to kind of out to dinner at last minute because, oh, I haven't had time to prepare, I haven't had time to kind of get myself ready for this, I need more time to catastrophize about it before I show up, because for some reason people find that helpful. Other people, sitting down with others and going, right, these are the things that I usually avoid. I want to stop avoiding this. Can you help me? And where you get the help from others is they give you a compassionate kick up the ass to say, right, you've been avoiding this for too long. I'm not taking no for an answer anymore. Put your shoes on, we're going out, right? But that needs to be done with compassion. That needs to be done with boundaries. That needs to be done with people where you've already got a safe connection. But your healthy adult needs to kind of set the lead on this, to say to other people, this is something I'm working on. This is something I need help with. Okay. I think that's all from me today on the avoidant protector. As I said, hit that subscribe button and we will follow up with a few more on the flight modes for schema therapy. Thanks, guys.